Hi, my name is Dawn. I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner. I work in dual diagnosis addictions and in primary mental health. If you saw my introductory video, I kind of introduced myself and what we're planning on doing with this little series. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we just wanted to put out a few videos that the patients find interesting and have asked if there's a YouTube channel that they can look it up later when they discharge. So here we are. The first video I talked about 10-80-10, which is always a very popular topic with the patients. I try to have that with them first. It's 10% in the past to learn from our mistakes, but we really have to get over ourselves on this human journey. We all make mistakes. 10% in the future. Plan for the future, but don't get emotionally attached to the future. A lot of people have a lot of grief just because they imagine their future would look differently, but typically it's a fantasy. 80% in the moment, so we can start living life in the moment, which is mindfulness. Now, most of us will respond to trauma and triggers of trauma in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And I try to explain this by talking about baby fox. So the baby fox story. Baby fox is in the forest and baby fox is in survival mode. Baby fox is a very hypervigilant animal. So baby fox might fight when a predator comes along, or freeze and hide, or flee, run away. But if a bully fox comes along, baby fox might lick bully fox's face or show the underbelly. Anything baby fox can do to minimize the harm, because there's no getting away from the fox because he's part of the family or the tribe or the pack. So the ideal is that when baby fox comes into the den, baby fox is safe, warm, and protected, so that this part of the brain, the survival brain, can kind of start calming down, and this part of the brain can start to develop. This is where we make good executive decisions, and our brain develops like this. But if we're always stuck in this part of the brain, which a lot of us, the storms and the predators were in the den with us all the time, so we never got out of this part of the brain. We were always in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. So that might look like, as a child, we're constantly fighting or angry and throwing a temper tantrum to try and get attention or get our needs met. It might look like that we're constantly trying to please mommy and daddy. Fawning is people pleasing. Fawning is manipulating for survival, lying, manipulating, because we want things to be calm. Because another piece of that is that when we're raised like that, just like any other animal, and we're always in that hypervigilant mode, most of us are empaths. Most of us feel the energies around us all the time, because that's how we survived. That was hyper-developed for us as we were growing. So being an empath, typically we're going to feel the energies around us. We're going to feel everybody else's energy. We're going to feel the full moon a little more than maybe the average person. And when we're feeling those energies, we're usually not feeling our own emotions. What we're doing is we're looking at another person and we're seeing that maybe they're very anxious, so we might be very anxious. And we're trying to preempt harm, so we're going to try and calm that person down. The next person might be very angry. The next person might be happy. So we can be feeling multiple emotions in one day just based on other people's emotions and other people's feelings that we're sort of absorbing. Now, I'm pretty sure that fawning isn't necessarily a term that's used these days, but I love it so much because as a raging codependent, I love the thought that I'm being compared to a sort of a fawning. It's a cute word, right? But it's not a really fun way to live life. So we try to teach the patients about their ages of trauma, what that looks like as an adult, and how they're maybe living life still in those modes of survival. Maybe they're freezing, maybe they can't get on with a job, or maybe they can't get on with life and they're staying in bed. Maybe they can't make a decision about life in school. Maybe they're running away when relationships start to get a little too close. Maybe they're always angry and always fighting. I often use the example, grown man gets rear-ended at the side of the road and he jumps out of his truck and he's throwing an adult temper tantrum. He's gotten stuck somewhere in his developmental age where he's still sort of in that 3-year-old mindset of just dealing with things as a toddler, just throwing this temper tantrum. So when he gets a trigger that basically is fear, that's how it's going to come out. So we use that baby fox example as sort of a way to explain how we interact with other people in the world and how our brain didn't quite develop properly so that we can live life and live life on life's terms. I always encourage patients, live life, decide you're going to live life. And then do no harm to yourself or others, then live a good life. Do what it takes to find out what you need to do to heal so you can live your best life. Be the hero in your story. Start writing your story instead of being on the sidelines. So that's the baby fox story. Next, what we'll talk about is the ages of development and how when we are triggered, we go back to certain ages of development and how we react or respond to situations, and maybe how we can start self-parenting and self-nurturing to bring ourselves out of those spaces. I use a lot of teaching on frequency healing as well, and the chakras, and how we can kind of use some meditation as well as medications if necessary to calm the mind down and to start living a really good life. So I hope you stick around. I hope you visit us in the next video. Thanks so much.